What's up, beautiful people? Let me get my life together first before I come on here talking on live. Oh, I didn't turn the thing around. Let me turn it back around, y'all. There we go. Good morning, beautiful people. How are you doing? So good to see you. Just got done doing my little walk, my little exercise. I'm sitting here at Walmart waiting on my mother to come out and get back in her car and go, because I went walking with her. Watching this man try and pull out this parking space. There's just a lot going on right now. Watching people walking into Walmart. That's what I'm doing right now. But anyway, y'all, divorce before you get married. Divorce before you get married. You like, Tynisha, that's not how it goes. You get married, then if things work out like that, you get a divorce. No, divorce before you get married. Well, divorce who? I'm not married to anybody. Yes, you are. You might have saw my post which said that marriage is not the answer when you're dealing with a spirit of lust. So a lot of people build up lust. Well, how do you build up lust, Tynisha? Well, when you have a whole lot of sexual partners before you get married, and you never take a break between having casual sex and then you jump into marriage, even if you marry the person, one of the people who you've been having casual sex with, what you don't realize is you've developed lust. You've been feeding the lust. You've been giving the lust everything that it wants. And then you get married and you think that lust spirit is not there still. Oh, that lust spirit is still there. But one thing about spirits is if they don't have one area to direct their attention, they'll direct it somewhere else. So the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Let me take my glasses off. I ain't no superstar, no celebrity. It's just bright outside. But anyway, what we don't do is take a break and actually purify ourselves before we get married. And so we take our unpurified self into something that's supposed to be holy, and we think God is going to bless it. And I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm speaking for myself and I'm speaking for other people that I've seen. A lot of people's divorce, including my own, I'm going to be so transparent. Before I got married, I didn't take a break. I was doing what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, was doing how I wanted to do it, when I wanted to do it with my ex-husband. And then I felt like, well, since I want to get married, God is going to just make it all right. Well, this is the thing. God will bless a marriage. Trust and believe he will. But if you've not dealt with your own spiritual issues, specifically lust, you'll find yourself still not satisfied when you get in that marriage. So if you've been dealing with pornography before you got married, 9 times out of 10, just because you have a wife, just because you have a husband, just because you have a ring, just because y'all had a big old ceremony, it does not mean that that lust spirit is going to be gone because somebody put a ring on your finger. Lust is a heart issue, right? And no matter whether you're married or single, divorced, it doesn't matter. Lust is a heart issue. So if your heart is not positioned properly prior to the marriage, then when you get in the marriage, the certificate and the pastor saying who objects and you standing at the altar saying I do, does not change that spirit that's within you. So you have to practice purity. You have to practice being cleansed. You have to practice purifying your spirit, purifying your mind, and your because let's be honest, when we had sex, we got images in our mind. And when if you've ever been addicted to pornography or watched pornography, you saw images that were in your mind, right? Those images are still there. So that's why a lot of people, especially men, y'all like pornography, women like pornography. But then when they get married to someone, it's like you're almost subconsciously comparing your husband and your wife to what you saw when you used to watch pornography. Or you're comparing your husband and your wife to what you used to do before you got married. And so it's like it creates in some people an insatiable desire. That's why a lot of people get into marriage and can have a beautiful wife, a handsome husband. He can do everything under the sun for you. She can do everything under the sun for you, but it's not enough. You still want more. You still want more. I'm doing a Facebook Live right now, so I'm going to go to Publix after I leave here.
Me too, because they ain't got no 14-pound bags there.
Okay, all right. See, I told her to go to Publix before we even pulled up here, right? She like, they don't even have the dog food there. She should have listened to her daughter. But anyway, I digress. So, dealing with lust is something that you need to do before you get married and bring somebody else into your world of mayhem, into your world of confusion, your world of you just want what you want. See, one thing about marriage is not I just want what I want. I just want to get what I can get. Marriage is I'm coming into this to bless somebody else, to give to somebody else, right? And how can you give to your husband or give to your wife when you're spreading yourself over here, you're spreading yourself over there, you're giving yourself to pornography and the men and women that you watch on pornography, you're giving yourself to romantic novels, you're giving yourself to soft porn, you're giving yourself to your work husband, you're giving yourself to the people at church that you flirt with, you're giving yourself to the women that you flirt with at the store. Some people, in their relationships, they say, well, I do what I want to do, and I'm okay with that. Me personally, I feel like if I'm flirting with someone and I'm married or I'm in a relationship, like for my relationship, that's not going to work. I'm not going to be out here flirting with guys, and whoever I'm in a relationship with is not going to be out here flirting with girls. And that's not that I know of, not that I'm going to be able to detect, right? So anyway, my point being this. If you really want to get married and you really want to walk down the aisle and you really want to get a husband or a wife and you want to stay in that marriage, before you get there. Now, am I saying that some people walk into relationships with a whole bunch of problems and they fix each other's problems while they're in that relationship? That's cool. That's their testimony. I'm not trying to have that testimony. I'm not trying to have somebody who's struggling with so many things. We all struggle with something. Let me clarify. We all struggle with something, right? I struggle with my weight. That's why I'm out here working and walking. Do you understand? I'm working on me. So when I present myself to my husband, because he coming, I'm going to be able to say, you know what? I feel good walking around shaking my shimmy in front of my husband. So I'm working on the things that I need to work on. Do you understand? But if you're dealing with somebody who's got what you may consider deal breakers and they've not worked on those things, like me, I consider a deal breaker cheating. Like, if you're going to cheat on me, just be away from me. If you're going to want to deal with other women, then just go deal with other women and leave me alone. Because I have the Spirit of God and God reveals stuff to me, right? My last situation, God revealed that to me. I never looked through that man's phone in the 6 years that I was dealing with him. But one day God was like, go pick up his phone. I feel like it was God. God was like, go pick up his phone. And on the phone, it just said these whole bunch of Facebook notifications for this one group. So the group that he was in was like a BBW group, like big girls group. But all the while you telling me, hey, let's go work out. Hey, let's exercise. Da, 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 da. But then you in this big BBW group, I so happen to go into the group. I see a post that he didn't like about or posted about one night stands, that you wanted to have a one night stand with somebody. I kicked the bed like, wake up. Let's address this right now, sir. You trying to have one night stands with people? That's what you're doing? And he was honest about it. Look, it hurt my heart, but he was honest about it. He was like, look, I'm a man and, I love you. You like my soul food, my home cooked meal, but every once in a while, I want some candy. I said, what? And he was dead serious. And I couldn't even fault him for living in his truth. I said, okay, cool. I understand. But I can't live in that kind of relationship. So what we're going to do, we're going to go our separate ways. So that was my story. he had not confronted and overcome his lust yet. And so I had in that area to where I don't want to cheat. I've never cheated on a man before in my whole entire life that I've been in any relationship. I have never, as God is my witness, cheated on a man. Or I ain't never been with no woman, so let me clarify with that too. Because, you know, people get on here, they say she ain't never cheated with no man, but did she cheat on a woman? Listen, y'all. I got to clarify stuff for people because people be acting like they don't understand what's going on. Anyway, so to make a long story short, he had not overcome his lust. And by not overcoming his lust, he brought that into the relationship. And the things that he was doing before we got into the relationship, he still continued to do, and he still wanted to do, but that was not my lifestyle, right? I can't do that, right? That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to the swinging club, right? He tried to introduce me to going to a swingers club, to where everybody just go there and just have sex, a big old orgy, right? I'm like, bruh, I don't live that kind of lifestyle. Then he tried to introduce, well, what if we get another girl to come into our sir? Nah, I don't do that either. So it was like he had not overcome his lust. And so he was trying to bring that into our relationship. That's why a lot of people get divorced. Is because the husband or the wife has not crucified that part of themselves. And so they step out and they want to go cheat and be with this person and be with that person and be with that person and be with this person and be with that person. And the other person doesn't know. And when the other person finds out, they're like, this is a deal breaker. This is a deal breaker. So we have to get a divorce at this point in time, right? So my thing to say is this. If you're really concerned or you're really considering marriage, take some time away from casual sex. Take some time away from sex in general. So you can kind of purify, you can kind of get rid of some of those images, you can kind of get rid of some of those feelings. Instead of jumping from relationship to relationship, relationship to relationship, casual sex, casual sex, casual sex, casual sex, and then hop into marriage and think everything is going to be okay. No. If you don't understand, sex is not just physical. And a lot of people, it was just, no. You are attaching yourself to somebody mentally. You're attaching yourself to somebody spiritually. Sex is more than just a vagina and a penis. It is much more than that. That's why when people, in the Bible it says, when husbands and wives come together and they become one, they're consummating their marriage. And then it also talks about how we should not want to become one with the harlot. In other words, what it's saying is we shouldn't be out here just having sex all willy-nilly and thinking that it's going to be okay. And thinking you're not going to suffer any kind of casualties. That's not how it's going to happen. Most of the people who've had a whole bunch of sex, they've suffered some casualties of war. Whether that war has been heartbreak over and over, whether that's been STDs over and over, whether that's been abortions over and over, whether that's been just relationships that were good. You could have really probably been married by now had you not been having so much casual sex with individuals. Had you been able to put your that on lockdown, on clink clink, you probably would have figured out that person wasn't the person who I need to be dealing with. Sex clouds our judgment. Lust and all that clouds our judgment. And we just be out here thinking, oh, well, they wasn't showing who they were in the beginning. No, you didn't take the time to answer questions. You didn't take the time to figure this person out. You didn't take the time to find out, well, okay, he watches a little porn. Okay, little porn. Little porn can turn into big porn real quick. Do you understand? So, he flirts a little bit. Okay, flirt a little bit. Flirting, to me, is a close cousin to cheating. And that's just me. Now, what you choose to define as flirting and what you choose to define as cheating, that's fine. That's for you. But I'm talking about as far as for me and when I'm in a relationship and who I'm in a relationship with. So just be mindful, y'all. Before you call yourself getting married, take some good self-inventory. Am I struggling with lust? Am I struggling with being pure? Or am I going to present my husband a defiled wife? Or am I going to present my wife a defiled husband? Because I haven't really purified my mind. I haven't really purified my spirit. I haven't purified anything about me. I've just jumped out of a casual relationship where I was fornicating. And now I'm going to jump into a marriage where adultery is likely. All fornication and adultery are like brother and sister, right? Fornication is just sex that I'm having before marriage. Adultery is I'm having sex with somebody other than my husband or my wife. There's no difference, really. You're just having sex with somebody who you're not supposed to be having sex with. And people be like, oh, God put these rules on us to make us not have fun, and he's such a party pooper. No, really, straight up, God tells you these things to protect you, to protect your mind, to protect your heart, to protect your body. I know someone personally right now suffering from, it's not even HIV anymore, it's AIDS. And I believe God showed me that because at that point in time when I found that out, that's what they had, I was living a promiscuous lifestyle. I just felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do. I was making money. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I can sleep with who I want to sleep with. But I believe God showed that to me that, yeah, Tynisha, you can be out here doing whatever it is that you want to do. But everything that you do is not profitable. And everything that you do has a recourse behind it. There is some compensation that comes with it. The Bible calls it the wages of sin is death. Not saying that everybody gonna die instantly because they commit a sin. That's not what I'm saying. But when you commit sin and you live in sin and you love sin, the only result that's going to come is death of relationships, death to finances, death to mental stability, death to love. Just think back over your life, and any time that you've been just consistently in sin, what did you lose? That was a death to something. That was a death to something. So I'm honestly just coming, and I don't even know why I'm in this. I don't know why, but I just feel like a lot of people need to figure out the fact that I can't just be out here living any kind of way. Not if I say I want to go to the next level. Not if I say that I want to live for God. If you don't want to live for God, cool, click off. I'm cool with that. But especially the ones who say they want to live for God, or the ones who want the blessing on their life, because a blessing comes on your life when you live for God. I'm a living witness of that. I've seen others and as myself. I've been celibate. Is the word celibate? No, abstinent for about 1.5 years now. No sex, no porno, no masturbation, just chilling. That's how I know it's a God. Because when I was in a relationship, oh yes, sir, 2-3 times a day. That's how I know it's a God. When I gave that over to God and I said, God, here, I literally said, God, take my private area and consecrate it. I literally said that. Consecrate it. God, being in casual sex, being just out there doing what I was not experiencing the blessing. I was experiencing eviction. I was experiencing repossessions. I was experiencing having a degree, but still couldn't get a decent job. I'm not saying all your problems are connected to, your level of purity. That's not what I'm saying. I'm giving you my testimony. I'm telling you about me. But then when I got serious about God and I said, God, I'm tired of having sex with people who, it just feels good for the moment. God, I'm tired of being, lustful. I'm tired of living a life that's not pure. I'm tired of just not being real with you, God. And I said, God, look, this is what I'm laying on the line. You talk about a fast. Some people fast from food. Some people fast from television. I fast from sex. And I've been fasting for about 1.5 years now. But one thing I can honestly say about me doing that, God has showed himself to be true to me. True to me. Okay? Yeah. He showed himself to be true to me. When I said, God, all right, I'm not trying to dance with him and dibble and dabble over here with him and do this. I said, God, I'm going to put you in your rightful position in my life first. And when I put him in my first position in my life, when I tell you things opened up, So you may be like, well, there's people out there who richer than you, who got more than you, and they just be screwing and they just be doing what they doing. You're right, there are. However, at some point, grass has to be cut. At some point, things have to be reconciled. God gives us a lot of grace. He gave me 15 years of grace, y'all, because I knew I was doing wrong, but I still did it. He gave me 15 years of grace till one day I'm riding down the highway. God clearly said to me, he said, Tynisha, your grace is almost up. I said, my grace is almost up. And I got scared a little bit because when God started talking to you about your grace is up, your grace is up. What he was saying was, Tynisha, I done gave you 15 years to stop fornicating and stop having sex with men that ain't your husband. You've been in and I haven't had a whole bunch of relationships. I had an 8-year marriage. I had a 6-year engagement. I had a 2-year relationship. And I had a 6-year relationship. Now, mind you, I'm 41, so yeah. But God was telling me, Tynisha, you know better, but yet you still choose to do what you want to do. He said, I've been having my hand on you I feel like he's saying this to somebody on this line right now. I've been having my hand on you for a long time now, protecting you from God done protected me. When I say I done been in hotel rooms that I knew I wasn't supposed to be in, and men could have came in there and raped me. They could have came in there and beat me, robbed me, but God kept me. And I knew I was in places I ain't had no business being. When I'm in places and I leave and somebody tell me the next day, hey, Tynisha, you know that door you were standing in front of, a bullet came through it about an hour after you left. That's how I know God is keeping me and has kept me. So when God used to just begin to deal with me, it's like, Tynisha, look, I done had my hand on, I done had you protected like this for a long period of time. This is how God spoke to me. He said, I done had you protected like this for a long period of time. He said, but what I'm doing is, he told me, he said, Tynisha, you about to run out of grace. I said, God, what you mean? You forever, you always gonna give me grace. You always gonna give me mercy. He said, you about to run out of grace because you know better, but you still choose to do what it is that you want to do. When God told me that, I began to think about it. And in that time, I was already in a relationship that I knew I wasn't supposed to be in. So I'm like, oh my gosh, God talking to me and he telling me, Tynisha, I better get it together. Slowly but surely. So I think like a year after that, and then I'm going to church every day and my pastor cracking me, or Sundays, and my pastor cracking me upside the head. You know you ain't supposed to be in that relationship. That relationship is not good for you. Like, he wasn't speaking to me directly, but his messages was just telling me where I am is not where I'm supposed to be. But yet still, I still go home because I shacked up. The one time that I shacked up, that was this time that I'm talking about, 41 years, I shacked up with a man for 6 years. I'm not wearing that as no badge. I'm just telling you that this is where God was dealing with me, right? So God was like, I'm getting ready to remove my grace. I'm like, you getting ready to remove? No, you're God. You're supposed to give me grace until I choose to get it right. That's not how it works. And a lot of people feel like that's how it works. God doesn't keep giving you grace until you decide to do something better. God gives you grace until he decides that grace is no longer the answer to this particular situation. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning because I normally don't even talk about this, but I'm talking about it today. If lust is an issue for you, divorce the lust before you get married. Divorce the fornication. Divorce the pornography. Divorce the impurity. Divorce the flirting. Divorce the not being able to control yourself. Divorce those things before you get married. Before you get married. That way, when you get married and your husband has done the same thing or your wife has done the same thing, you can walk in a different level of purity. A threefold cord is uneasily broken. When you say, God, we're going to consecrate our marriage unto you, and our marriage going to have you in the middle of it, and our marriage is going to be focused on you. You can't break a threefold cord. A twofold cord is easily broken because it's just y'all keeping it together. It's just y'all's effort, y'all's way of thinking, y'all's way of being, keeping it together. And that's why a lot of people get divorced, in my opinion, is because it's just them keeping it together. That's why me and my husband got divorced, because it was just us keeping it together. We didn't keep God at the middle of our marriage. We did not. I was lusting with him before we got married. We going to the kinky, sneaky, freaky store, doing what we wanted to do, coming back and having, just me and him doing what we wanted to do, period, right? And so then I'm like, well, we should get married. He didn't tell me, I told him, right? That's another thing in and of itself. Women, stop trying to tell men that they need to marry you. If he does not have enough sense that you the woman that he needs to marry, then why are you sitting there trying to convince him, trying to put on a performance and a production that you need to marry me? I cook for you. I clean for you. I clean your whole house. You ain't got no deed, no license, no key to his house, no nothing. It ain't yours, it's his, but you want to come over there and do all these wifely duties. Here I go digressing again. Men, you want to do all these husbandly duties, buying her this, buying her that, buying her this, buying her that. That's not your wife. That's what you do for your wife, sir. You don't buy her, buy. Every time you turn around, you trying to buy her love. Stop trying to buy these ladies' loves, because you're really getting the okie doke is being really what's done to you, right? Buying them expensive dinners, expensive purses. I'm talking to the men now, as if I was talking to a homeboy or my son. Stop buying these women's purses, $9,000 purses, cars and shoes. I'm not saying from time to time a gift is good, but why is you out here trying to buy this woman's love? Because you're going to have to continue to buy her love for the entire time that you're there. And if you stop buying her love, then it's going to be like she walking away, and then you're going to be like, oh, she used me. No, she didn't use you. You allowed yourself to be used. Show me where it say that a man got to shower a woman with all these different gifts. Unless she a prostitute. You could be a prostitute if you her John. That's fine. But at the end of the day, love shouldn't be based on how much you buy me. Love shouldn't be based on how much sex you have with me. Like, really, this culture has turned love, marriage, relationships into nothing more than a prostitute John transaction. I can't be a part of that. I can't be a part of that. I can't be a part of being a prostitute John transaction. And a lot of people that's what they're doing. You give me purses, money, food. I give you sex and suck on you and lick on you. What do a prostitute do? Listen. All right, I'm done talking about it. Listen, y'all. Divorce all of that stuff before you get married. If you want to get married, divorce all of that stuff. Write it down. If you struggle with pornography, write it down. If you struggle with lust, write it down. If you struggle with homosexuality, write it down. If you struggle with flirting, and you know all these things about you, we ain't got to come and pinpoint it. I don't have to come sit next to you and say, hey, you struggle with this. You already know in your heart of heart what you struggle with. If you're struggling with all these things and you really want to get married, I'm talking about a real marriage that lasts until death do you part, inside of holy matrimony, please, by all means, take some self-examination, write this stuff down, and give it to God. God, I renounce pornography. God, I renounce fornication. God, I renounce homosexuality. God, I renounce whatever it is that you feel like you're lusting after that's not what you should be lusting after. That's all I got today. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Ain't that what they say in the old church? I'm about to go to Publix. I hope y'all have a great day. I only share these kind of things because I want to see people win. I don't want to see people. I've been through a divorce. I do not like seeing people go through a divorce, because they say a divorce is very, very close to somebody in your life dying. And I can honestly say, when I went through my divorce, I felt like I was dying, and I felt like that person had died to me. And for like a couple weeks, I couldn't even go down the street without seeing places that me and this person then ate at and drank at and had fun at. And here we go, riding by, and I just break down crying for no apparent. I was hurt. And it took me some time to get over it, right? And I've been divorced, I think, for probably about like 10 years. Yeah, about 9 or 10 years. That's not something I would wish on my worst enemy. I don't wish divorce on none of my, I don't wish breakups on any of my worst enemies, because that's a pain that, nah. So what I'm saying is try your best to go ahead and do it this way, because, and I'm not even going to say the right or wrong way. Try and do it this way, because the way you've been trying it hasn't worked. Hasn't worked. So again, I love y'all. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I will be back on someday, sometime. I don't know when. I'm about to go grocery shopping and go home and do some work. And until next time, giving you a big old hug from afar.